Welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends, NFL edition. I'm Terry. That's Nick. I always point the wrong way. That's Chubbs, and that's Tim, if I can point there.
Right here.
In the bottom right-hand corner. We are going to go over the NFL for this weekend, the conference championships. We have Bengals at the Chiefs and 49ers at the Rams. We will jump right into it with the first game, and we have Earl versus Earl. Bengals at Chiefs. So we got one Earl on the Bengals, one Earl on the Chiefs. I will let you guys go first, and we will start with Nick.
Have Nick go first, and I'll prove with him why he's wrong. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, here's the plain and simple fact about this game. Kansas City in a rout. I don't see this being particularly close. I can easily see this being 34-10, something along those lines there. This is a game where we have these Kansas City Chiefs who have, since week 8, I believe they won 9 of their last 10 games, and then they've obviously won the 2 playoff games. The only game they didn't win was against the Cincinnati Bengals team. But let me explain.
It was in Cincy.
It was in Cincinnati. Patrick Mahomes is a totally different player at home at Arrowhead. Also, Jamar Chase went for, I think, 255 yards that game. That's not going to happen again. Joe Burrow threw for 400 and something yards that game. That's not going to happen again. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce were limited to, I think, 7 catches and 80-something yards. That is not going to happen again. For me, this was plain and simple, and I rarely do this, and I'm super confident on this game. Chiefs first quarter -2.5. Chiefs first half -4. Chiefs full game -6.5. I got this at 6.5 about 5 minutes after the line dropped. I saw, this is going to go to 7. This is for the Bengals, whatever. It was nice you made it this far. You're a nice little story. You're cute. It's time for the big boys to play now. Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl. They rout the Bengals in this game, 34-10, something along those lines. Give me the Chiefs.
All right, Tim. Let him have it.
And you know what? I'll start off by saying, because IceX said, yes, a Bengals fan. I will say I'm a Jets fan. So this is 100% not biased. This is just the jersey I have nearby. This is actually one of, I think, 2 NFL jerseys I have with me. I think the other one was an Eagles. So, no, I'm not a Cincinnati Bengals fan. But I am for this game, and I am for the rest of the postseason. I love how this team just gets underestimated. Beginning of the season, preseason, people are like, they'll win 3, maybe 4 games. We'll see how Joe Burrow comes back. Jamar Chase is a rookie. Mixon's had a meh career, blah, 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 and they end up winning the North. All right, they made it good. They made the playoffs. That's good for them. First time they made the playoffs since 2015, whatever it was. They're not beating the Raiders. Raiders are a good team. And then they end up beating the Raiders.
They were favored against the Raiders. You can't use that one.
Yeah, they were favored against the Raiders, but yet they still hadn't won a playoff game in 31 years. So you can't really say that it was they expected to do that. And then they went into Tennessee last week, and their defense played phenomenal. And this is another game where everybody's like, no way the Bengals come close. No, Tennessee en route. And then, it was an ugly game, I will say. The fact that the Bengals allowed 9 sacks onto Joe Burrow and still won that game proves that their defense is legit right now. But you got to think, one of the things is this defense, I feel like, I know, is nowhere near the tier of the Buffalo Bills. But I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals had enough time to prep for Kansas City. I'm going to take them. I took them. I'm going to wait. And here's the thing. I'm going to wait because when it comes to it, I think that this line will end up jumping up to, right now it's like a 7, almost a 7.5. I think by game time, because of teaser protection, I think it gets up to 9, 9.5. And I'm going to grab the 9, 9.5, whatever it is, or I'm going to get it as high as I can get before the game. And then I'll also add the Cincinnati Bengals money line. and I'll roll with it plus 300, whatever it is. I think it's my dog, and I'm still gonna roll with it. I have their Super Bowl ticket. I'm down with it. This is probably, and I'll either be really smart or it'll be over in the first quarter. So we'll have to find that one out. So we'll have to figure that one out. But I'm gonna take the Bengals plus whatever points I can get when it comes to it, and I'm gonna grab them on the money line as well to beat Chiefs. We did see the last time that the Chiefs and Bills played a playoff game was AFC Championship, I believe last year. We saw that game go back and forth, go into overtime, and then what happened the next time the Chiefs played? Flat spot against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I don't know.
Please shut up. That was 2 weeks later. That is all. That's
2 weeks later with no offensive line.
That's terrible. That's just terrible. That's a terrible
Bengals.
Comparison. No.
All right, Chubbs.
I don't care what you say.
We got one Earl on the Chiefs, one Earl on the Bengals. What do you think?
So, I mean, I really want the Bengals to win. I really do, because I'm not that big of a fan of Mahomes and the whole Kansas City thing over there. But to be honest with you, I really don't think they're going to pull it off. I think Kansas City wins this game. I don't really have a side placed right now, but just because I don't really know how to attack it, maybe that first half's not a bad look. That was mentioned earlier, but I mean, I really don't think the Bengals are going to pull this off. I think it's just going to be a different game in Arrowhead, and I think that O-line is just going to get destroyed again, and I don't think the Bengals are going to be able to do it.
All right. Sosa, what are you thinking of this game?
Listen, man, I love Joe Burrow. I bet against him a couple times in the playoffs. It's not what I would usually do because I really do love the kid. Where he's come, where this team has come to this point is pretty miraculous. I mean, it took an absolute bonehead throwing 3 picks, looking like the worst fucking quarterback in the history of Earth last week to beat him, to get out of there. I personally, bro, like the first time these two teams played, there was some really bad officiating in the second half. The defense made one play the whole game. That was in the second quarter when Tyreek caught another bomb, but he got the ball knocked out of his hands by Jesse Bates. Should have been up 3 touchdowns going into the break. They weren't. I think Kansas City smokes these guys. There's no emotional letdown from a big game when you're playing at the crib. You're home. I mean, you might come out a little slow, maybe a little flat, but I mean, this team's locked in. And I mentioned it last week. Like, Patrick Mahomes doesn't play bad in playoff games unless it's the Super Bowl. Like, you could have an argument that the 2 worst games of his career that he's ever played prior to this season, because he had a couple of stinkers this year in the regular season, right? Because part of it's not being patient. But for me, it's Chiefs to cover or nothing. I don't think this one will be particularly close. I mean, Joe Burrow got sacked 10 times. I would be looking at Ryan Tannehill sideways if I was on the other team, no question. Like, I would be looking at him like I wouldn't even. He's lucky the game was at home because he got left in whatever city they played in. He was absolutely horrendous. So.
All right. I'm with Tim on this one. I'm going Bengals plus 7.5. When the line right now it's a 7. I'm waiting until it goes to 7.5, and then I'm gonna have a sprinkle on Cincinnati money line and Joe Mixon to get a touchdown. I feel like this is going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, and I think the Bengals might have the upset in them. Yeah.
And I will say the last time I remember last week, everybody on the panel was on the Titans, and then me and Terry were on the Bengals, and we're the only ones who cashed that game. Granted, that was the only game I cashed over the weekend, but me and Terry were both on that one. So
I will say my favorite prop is Kelsey touchdown. I locked it in at minus 120. Oh, I've been on the train for the past, I think it's 5 consecutive games. He scored a touchdown. Some books it's at 155. I snagged it at 120. Should be available on some books, but that's actually one of my favorite props for the weekend.
Yeah, one last thing I want to say for what we saw last week. I hope you guys enjoyed the really close competitive games last week, because when this game is 34-10, people are not going to be particularly happy.
Well, we shall definitely see.
I do have a couple of props. I told you guys about this last week. Probably gonna have to wait for it to get on the actual book, because right now they don't have like a regular base number, and that's Patrick Mahomes rushing yards. I mentioned it last week. Every single playoff game he's ever played, and it's hit. And it hit in the first quarter. He had a 35-yard run last week. So the base number is probably going to be, I would say, around 27 and a half, something like that. Right now, you can only get like an alternate line on FanDuel, because the only three guys they have. So, like, I don't know if you guys have it available, but Patrick Mahomes
in North Carolina, it's not legal.
In every playoff game, it's a virtual lock. And I would also take Tyreek's yards. The Bengals are going to make a distinct effort to take Travis Kelce out of the game. So you're going to have to beat them with your receivers. They're going to clog the middle of the field, and they're going to make you make the throws to the outside, or make Patrick Mahomes be a mobile deliverer of the football. I still think he'll be just fine, but that's just what I foresee per se in regards to this matchup.
Yeah, my book, Mahomes over 28.5 rushing yards is -115.
Yep,
for 28.5.
You saw him in the last 2 weeks. I mean,
yeah.
When he wants to take off and do his thing, it's nothing you can really do, because it's too much. That there's too much pressure, and bind on the defense on the back end.
Joe Burrows rushing yards is 8.5.
Joe Burrow rushing touchdowns plus 500.
I think he's going to have a lot of negative
10
yards.
times last week. I don't know if he might be running for his life, or he might be getting sacked in the backfield.
Just 8.5 seems kind of small to me.
But when you get sacked, that's -5 right there. And if you
sack yards don't come out of your rushing total.
Good to know.
If you're in the pocket, it doesn't count as rushing yards.
Right.
Heard.
Oh. All right.
But one thing, if the Bengals repeat what they did last week, if you get sacked 9 times, you're getting blown out against this team. You can't. Yeah. It's one thing against Ryan Tannehill and that struggling offense in Tennessee. It's another thing against a juggernaut in Kansas City. And Kansas City feels like the Tampa Bay Lightning of football right now. So you guys can't make mistakes. They have to play perfect football in this game.
And it wasn't a struggling offense. It was one guy.
Yeah.
Tannehill was just god awful. Oh my Lord.
Can we mention Tannehill with his picks? 2 out of the 3 of them were tip balls, so you can't really blame him for 2 of them.
The first one was the first play of the game.
First one, awful.
Also,
second 2 were both tipped.
First quarterback ever whose first pass of the game, first pass of the second half, and final pass of the game were all interceptions.
Pretty bad.
Does that prove how bad he was, or how good would the Bengals defense was?
Like that, yeah, he did all that, and still the Bengals only won that game by 3 points.
I'm glad you're saying it. I'm glad you're saying it, because they weren't the better team. They just had one team had a bonehead quarterback.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we got some disagreement here in the first game, but that's always good to have different opinions. The next one here, 49ers are at the Rams. Plus 3.5 for the Rams. Or sorry, plus 3.5 for the 49ers. Minus 3.5 for the Rams. A total of 46 in this one. I don't really have much of an opinion here. I think 49ers plus 3.5. If I had to bet it, I would probably be going with that. I could see this being a close game. The 49ers did really well with the Packers last week. That was a close game throughout. And they got the win there. I don't know that maybe they can do it again. I faded the Rams last week, and we obviously got burnt for it bad. So I don't know if I'm going to fade them again this week. Just to lean for me. San Francisco plus 3.5. What do you think, Nick?
Sosa is going to like what I'm about to say. The San Francisco 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. Give me them plus 3.5 and plus 155 in this spot here. And at the very least, this game is going to come down to a field goal. And we've seen Shanahan dominate McVay the last 6 games. He just has their number. And if we look at this, may be a surprising statistic. The 49ers actually averaged more yards per game this year than the LA Rams did. They have a better offense than the Rams. They have a really strong running game. I think that they're going to be able to run the ball down the Rams' throat better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to. And if we get any type of performance like we did with the Rams last week in the second half, guess what? You're not winning the game at the end with the Rams there. No, the Niners are going to win by 10 points if the Rams repeat what they did in the second half last week. If they create all those turnovers or they turn the ball over that much like they did. I'm sorry. I'm not trusting a team laying 3.5 points that almost blew a 26-point lead. Granted, it was against the greatest of all time in Tom Brady, but still, this is not a Rams team I trust. This is a Rams team I've been fading most of the year. They've sucked against the spread for most of the year. I've made some decent money fading them. And I'm gonna do it one more time here when the Niners win straight up in this game against the Rams. Give me Chiefs and Niners in the Super Bowl. Repeat from 2 years ago.
All right. Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, me and Nick will agree on this one. And I will say, this is not the game I'm confident in. This one I feel like can go either way. But when it's coin flip for me, I like to take the plus money. I like to take the plus points. I feel like in order for the Niners to win this game, Jimmy Garoppolo has got to do something. Like the only reason why the Niners beat the Packers was because Packers have a very shitty special teams. Blocked field goals, blocked punt. The 49ers did nothing. Zip on offense. Nothing. So that really scares me taking the Niners in this one. And after what we saw from what we've been seeing from the Rams with their offense, and OBJ is showing up, and they got Akers back, who's been doing really well, and Matthew Stafford's been doing well. This is the scary game for me. It's not the pretty pick. I'm going Niners in this one, and I would also lean towards the under. If the Niners want to win this game, they got to play good defense, because I don't think if they try to go with a shootout with the Rams that they're going to win this game. So I'm going to say Niners and under. I might tease that. So Niners up and tease the under down. So, or tease the under up, whatever it is. But if the Niners want to win this game, defense is key, which they played phenomenal defense against Green Bay. Their offense has to show up. You can't do everything on defense. So Niners in the under.
All right, Chubbs, what do you think here, Niners and Rams?
So last week I was on the Niners. I've been on the Niners since they beat the Texans in like week 17, I think it was, all money line. I'm just going to do it again here in this spot just because I want to keep going with the system, and I honestly think the Niners could upset the Rams here again. My favorite prop for this game is Debo to score a touchdown. You could get that at even. He didn't do it last week. I did lose on that, but I've been on him for the past, I don't know how many weeks. It's crazy. I think he gets in the end zone. And I said this last week as well. I think in this spot here, it's, for me at least, I think it's money line or nothing. I mean, give me the plus whatever it is, 150. Give me the value. If the Niners lose, in my opinion, it's going to be by more than 3 points. And that's what I said last week against the Packers. I think it's the same spot.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat with that where you should just take the money line, because I think they said in the last 82 championship games, the team that won the game covered it 72 of the times, and the winner of the game covered 72% or 72 out of 82, something along those lines, of AFC NFC championship games. Mm-hmm. So if you like a team to win, take them straight up.
All right, so what do you think? Are we all on the same side here?
I mean, I'm a Niner fan. You're not going to get me to say anything other than, we're going to win the game. obviously, last time we played them, Jimmy turned it over early. We were down 17. we stuck to what we do best, ran the ball right down their throats. Second half, got the Stafford turnover, and then we got the Stafford turnover in overtime. I like this. I just like the makeup of my team. We have an identity and we stick to it. We don't go out there trying to get cute. At times, you do have to worry about Jimmy Garoppolo being a liability because he is prone to making mistakes. But the Niners don't lose games that are played on inside. They don't lose games that are played inside. You got to have. They just don't. You know what I mean? Like I think they were like 5-1. I believe they were 5-1 this year. And the one they lost, I believe, was against Seattle when Jimmy Garoppolo's first game back, Jimmy Garoppolo's first game back from injury. Or either that or like he got hurt in the game and Trey Lance had to come, one or the other.
Yeah, I remember that game. I had Seattle.
If the game's played on turf or inside, I like my team. I just think that's part of it too. So I'm rocking with the Niners on the money line. Originally got it at 160. So I've already bet it. It's down to like around 145. So you can get close to 150 in some places. I love the Debo touchdown. I actually like Kyle Juszczyk to score a touchdown in this game.
Love that one there.
I like Kyle Juszczyk to get in the end zone. One thing that you'll see from Kyle Shanahan is that he understands how to attack your weaknesses. One of the weaknesses of this defense is the linebackers. While this team's very good on the back end, and obviously they have Aaron Donald in the middle, and they have Von Miller coming off the edge. The one thing is their linebackers are not that good. We saw Gronk get off really well. He had a good game. I personally Juszczyk to get a touchdown. I believe it's like plus 470. I think that's a great value. I think if you remember in that game, in both the games they played, Juszczyk was running wide open, and both times Jimmy missed him. I think Kyle gets in the end zone this week.
You think Trey Lance comes in at any time?
No.
I honestly don't believe so. I mean, I think that Kyle knows that the biggest thing is if Jimmy is mistake free, we'll win every game. The only reason the Niners have lost games in the last 3 years when Jimmy Garoppolo is on the field is because of him. You can't pull back. We can't pull up a tape from any of like the last 2 seasons where we're like, damn, the defense didn't play well, or it's always been because of poor quarterback performance. That's the only reason that a Kyle Shanahan coach team ever loses, which shouldn't be the case because we're a run-first team, right? We're going to run it 40 times. That's what's most frustrating about it. So,
by the way, your Juszczyk prop on my book is 7-1, so I'm probably going to put a half unit on that.
I love him to get.
I'm going to do that right now.
I love myself some playoff Juszczyk. That is fantastic.
I just bet it 7-1 half unit play.
They also never take him off the field. They line him up in so many different places, and then on third downs when they know that when we know we're getting blitzed, he's the back in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
He's the man, bro. There's no reason to straight guy like the Niners. Yeah, and when the coach is getting asked, is Kyle Shanahan in your head at the press conference on Tuesday, and he has to answer questions like that,
Oh yeah, it's going to be in his head if he's being asked if it's in his head.
It's another Kyle Shanahan masterclass on the way.
All right. Best bets. I'm going to make it an optional thing. So because there's only 3 weeks, we're only doing 3 weeks of football. I thought it wouldn't really be fair to track that and post that up. So it's like you did great with your best bet last week though. San Francisco money line. Tim, did you have
Bengals?
Yeah, plus 3.5. So that was pretty good. My best bet, if I had to pick one, obviously I like the Bengals plus 7. If it gets to plus 7.5, I'll be taking it. plus 7.5. That would be my best bet. What do you think, Nick?
Because of the line I got it at, Chiefs minus 6.5. I got it at 6.5 before I got to 7. That's my best bet. But I don't mind first quarter minus 2.5 or first half minus 4 either.
Tim, what do you think?
I just want to go best bet Bengals money line. I really just want to just go out and then say the best parlay piece is Bengals plus 7.5 or as many points as you can buy them up with. I will say if you're betting the Bengals, as I mentioned earlier, wait until Sunday right before the game. That's when you're going to get your best line because guaranteed a lot of people betting on Saturday and early on Sunday morning will be adding the Chiefs money line to their parlay, and it's just going to keep building and building. And I could easily see that the line go from 7 to 7.5 to 8 to 9. So I could easily see this one being a 9.5 by game time. So wait, you can get your best line right before the game starts. Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, Chubbs.
Can't give out a side. Don't really have a best bet, but I'll give you my favorite prop, which is Kelsey touchdown minus 120. That's my best bet.
All right, Sosa.
Muted.
Oh, you're muted.
My favorite prop bet is T. Higgins anytime touchdown. He'll score he will score a touchdown this week.
Yep.
And I'm also on let me get the exact number for you. I'm also on Kansas City minus 9.5.
Ooh.
The alternative spread.
At plus 110.
That's only a plus 110?
Only a plus 110. Bro, they're gonna smoke these boys.
I know. I tripled up on them here. I got first quarter, first half info game.
I love Joe Burrow, but he's about to get smoked.
And I you know what? I'll throw this out there. Me and Nick over on our channel, we're going to be doing a watch along most likely on Sunday. So if anybody wants to come on and say hi and everything, we'll be watching the game. So we'll have live reactions and everything. So if anybody's interested in that, I figure I'd throw it out there. And we get to watch the Bengals upset the Kansas City Chiefs.
Best of luck.
All right. So before we end off the stream, thanks everybody for coming. Hit the subscribe button, smash the like button. It's funny that our other NFL show is still getting still getting views, even though the game is finished. It's still getting views. So we'll definitely get some more views on this throughout the weekend. Good luck to everybody. Hope everybody makes some money this week. And yeah, I'm with Tim. Go Bengals.
Let's get it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Have a good one, guys.
First.